Another day, another feud for President Trump, and the latest person in his crosshairs is former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. We now know that Tillerson had a secretive meeting with House Democrats this past Tuesday. One thing he told lawmakers that Russian President Vladimir Putin was more prepared than President Trump for their 2017 meeting in Germany. The president reported on Twitter, terming Tillerson, quote, dumb as a rock, and saying he didn't think Putin would agree. And the current Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, showed up on CNBC to second his boss's criticism.
He, meaning Rex Tillerson, was guided by, quote, American values, such as democracy and freedom, but that he could not offer the same assessment for the president. What do you make of that comment?
It's pretty outrageous, and it probably explains why Rex Tillerson is no longer the Secretary of State.
Meantime, frequent Trump critic George Conway lobbed his own Twitter missile, asking the president, could you find Crimea on an unmarked map? Aaron Banco is the national security reporter for the Daily Beast and was the first to report on Tillerson's meeting. So, Aaron, great to have you on. And first, just back on the American values question. Secretary Tillerson, has questioned Trump's American values, which is what Pompeo was reacting to today. Tillerson went there. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, this was a really, really long meeting for Tillerson on the Hill, and I'm told that at least part of the meeting, the first sort of half of the meeting, focused on Trump himself, his individuality, what he was like, and a little bit of that part focused on Russia. But in a broader sense, this 7-hour meeting included much more than Russia. But in terms of how Tillerson reacted to Trump while he was in office, that was definitely something he spoke about during the meeting. And in regard to the comments he made about Trump being prepared or not being prepared for that trip in 2017 to Hamburg, Germany, Tillerson said that Putin sort of was outmaneuvered Trump, and that comment was sort of put in a general context of the Trump administration just in general, not being prepared and not taking the advice of experts on critical foreign policy issues.
Well, let's jump to that. Since we're talking Russia, we know Trump insists he was fully prepared with that meeting in Hamburg with Vladimir Putin. But this is what he said ahead of his first meeting, the first extraordinary summit, right, between him and Kim Jong-un. Listen to this.
I think I'm very well prepared. I don't think I have to prepare very much. It's about attitude. It's about willingness to get things done. But I think I've been preparing for the summit for a long time, as has the other side. I think they've been preparing for a long time also. So this isn't a question of preparation. It's a question of whether or not people want it to happen. And we'll know that very quickly.
Does that sound like a man who does his homework? Did the former secretary address that at all?
Yeah, so I think this touches to a couple of different comments that Tillerson made during this 7-hour meeting, which was that in general, when he came into office, he said, he really tried to follow the old guard. He tried to set up an interagency process whereby, the president could be briefed and be prepared for these kinds of meetings via State Department experts and officials. And what happened during his time in the administration is that process sort of broke down. And so it manifested itself in a way in 2017 where ultimately Trump wasn't as prepared as he should have been. And so part of this breakdown, happened with, Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, sort of interceding.
He's had friction with him, right?
Yes. And, Tillerson said during the meeting, listen, I really tried to do my best to have a professional working relationship with the president. I tried to have a really smooth interagency process, but that was really difficult because Jared Kushner was sort of in the president's ear and undermining that process a little bit. And I think that, and he didn't just talk about Russia. The 7-hour meeting was about, foreign affairs writ large. It was about the Middle East. It was about China. It was about a lot of different issues. And in general, I think what the committee was after was looking at, where is the State Department at today and how are they dealing with these foreign policy issues, and are they sort of circumventing that interagency process that is supposed to happen?
Of which there are many foreign policy issues currently facing this president. Aaron Banco with the scoop with the former Secretary of State. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on. Coming up next.